What's going on, party people? So today I want to talk about how we show up, right? So I realized that who I know I was, if that's the real way to say it, who I knew I was is not who I showed up as, but I am working back to who I was because I pinpointed when it was I changed. Does that make sense? For me, we continue to hide behind, not hide, but society tells us that we should fit in, right? Like we get into situations, we get into relationships, and then we fit into that world we decided to because we make a choice. We decide to get in relationships, we decide to get in situations, we make decisions. And what we really need to do is own the decisions that we make. We can't blame anybody else for how it turned out, but ourselves, because of the fact that going into anything, we have an expectation of other people. And sometimes I would say that we change who we are to fit into our current situation. And that's not really, that's not stepping into our power, and that's not walking in our true purpose. Because if you're pretending to be somebody else and then you lose yourself, and let's not go as far as pretending, right? We're not pretending, but we slowly lose a piece of ourselves and who we identify as, the more we stay in some place that we don't belong. How many of us try to fit into that square that we know we're not supposed to be in, but we continue to try to fit? We're a star, we different shapes. A star trying to fit into a square doesn't really go. I mean, yes, you can twist and turn it to make it fit, but in reality, does it really fit? So I just wanted to talk about just five, because I really want to dive more deeper into the conversation about showing up and how we show up. But I'm just going to say five tips on how to change how you show up, right? The first one is taking time to identify areas in your life where you would like to improve. Because we could say all day, I can say all day, because like I'm going to talk about myself. Like I want to do better here, better there, better anywhere. Like health reasons, right? You want to change. People normally only change for health reasons because something happens drastically. Or, we get that bug that you're like, oh, I'm gonna do big, do it better. Or, you always want to stay the same. You're comfortable, right? Because I know a lot of people who take pills just so they can continue to eat the way they want to, instead of making that one little shift or 2 or 3 shifts, right? But it's about what you want and finding ways that you want to improve in your life, not where anybody else wants you to improve. The second one is finding a positive role model or mentor to help you set and reach your goals. Now, in reality, a lot of people come to the point where they say, I don't promote my business. I mean, I learned that because that's how I grew up, right? We don't want people in our business. We don't want people to know. We don't want to open up. We don't want to identify. We don't want to find the problem because we don't have a problem, right? At least that's what we say to ourselves. So finding someone that can help you be who you need to be or who you need to show up as, because we truly need to find a different way to show up for ourselves, if you want to. All right, so number 3 is take physical and mental health seriously and make time for self-care. Self-care is not selfish. Let's caveat with that. But self-care, it's about not allowing other people to dictate or have you identify in a way that you don't believe. And honestly, it's trusting your intuition, believing that the thing that you feel from someone is the truth, right? Like, we can play the game or try to fit in all day, but is it really who you are? What's going on? I'm just talking about 5 ways to change how you show up. And in 2023, it is time for us to show up differently for who we want to be and not worry about everybody else. So the 4th one is make a conscious effort to practice positive self-talk and self-affirmations. Here's the big thing. People are going to play that, oh, they don't work. But why? What if we try? What if we try? My biggest thing is changing your thoughts, right? Our thoughts create. We are creators. We are not supposed to struggle, but we do because it's our human ability that we learn. It's taught. People teach us how to be miserable, and we stay being miserable because that's all we know, right? If you go into a situation, I'm going to talk about me. You go into a situation, you're mad, right? But what are we really mad about? Because we had an expectation on somebody else to show up differently. So at this point, what I do for myself is I take a breath. Like, and that's the biggest thing I could tell you, right? The biggest change you need to realize is taking a breath before you react. Do not just go off the cuff and be like, you know what? Oh my God, how could you do this? No, take a breath and realize if what somebody just did to you or did really bothers you that much because it is a problem for you, or it's something that you've not dealt with in your life that you keep hashing back up. And there's a lot of terms that we could use for this, but a lot of people aren't ready for those terms. So we just gonna keep it on the mid-level and we're gonna keep it moving, right? Oh, you see, the struggle that we have on being honest with ourselves, right? Like, here's what I've learned. And in 2023, I have and I am continuing to go to who I was. I'm better than I was then, but who I was then is how I'm going to show up now, right? We spend so much time caring what other people think that we should or how we should show up, right? Because I'm gonna tell you, I'm a whole mood and attitude on my own. I don't need nobody's help to show me or tell me what to do. But we allow other people and their energy to take over. And what we need to learn is other people's energy doesn't get to control you. You are a whole mood on your own. And the minute we decide, because it takes a decision to want to change, right? You know, everybody is like, new year, new you, right? But really, like, it needs to be a new year, new you showing up differently, right? Like the things that happen in your head. If you have an issue with somebody, it's time where you say, you know what? Enough is enough. Like, you don't get to act like that towards me. And here's the deal. I will no longer deal with you until you get it together. They can choose to stay, choose to go. Reality wise, some of us need to be willing to end relationships with family, friends, years, multiple years, all the things. You need to be willing to end relationships that no longer serve you. And until we decide, because it's a decision, until we decide to end situations that do not serve us, that do not benefit us, that we're just holding on to because we've been friends for so long. I don't care. Like, the friendship and friends, like people I've met now, I'm not going to change who I am because you don't like it. You could be jealous, but here's jealousy. It's not godly. It isn't. Jealousy is not of God. Trust and believe that. So any jealousy that you feel towards me or something that I'm saying, it's something that's wrong with you, not me. Because how I show up and what I say is my feelings. Nobody gets to tell me how to feel. And that's the problem. We all base our feelings on how we show up or what we say, so we don't hurt nobody else's feelings, or we don't make somebody else feel uncomfortable. If they're uncomfortable, it's their reasons why they're uncomfortable. It ain't got nothing to do with you. Like, and if you stop really caring how they feel and care how you feel, that's the factor you need to bring into light, right? All right, the final one is incorporate new activities into your life that help you discover your passions and your interests. We all are here for a purpose. And sometimes we dabble. I spent 20 years in the military, and I know that the military was just the path God put me on to get where I am. How many of us are on a path that we're supposed to be on, but we stay stuck or we limit ourselves because of the people that we end up seeing on that path? Sometimes that path, it's just for you to learn the lessons that you need to learn. And the minute you hold on tight to something that happened along the line that ain't even served no purpose, it was just for you to see that thing, but you still stuck, right? You still stuck. What do you need to do? What do you need to do? Let go of, see differently, and sometimes you need to see yourself differently. You need to see that you are made for more. You need to see that you don't no longer have to dabble, because I love that word, dabble into things that do not serve you. Are you ready? Like, the question is, are you ready to do more and be more? And I haven't been live for a while, but I'm starting back because I've learned that the things that I have, that are things that I need to share, people need it. And the power of rebranding your spirituality allows, oh my Lord. Yes, the power that of rebranding your spirituality allows you to flow effortlessly. It's 100%. Like, but you know what? People don't want to talk about spirituality. They don't want to dig deep. They don't want to be. The military is not the end all. The military is a guide. It is. I had a most amazing time. And you know what? If I showed up differently in the beginning, I would have realized that everything that I allowed, right? So I remember back when I was stationed in Germany, and we were sitting around chatting. I probably shared this before, which sitting around, chopping it up, whatever. And somebody was complaining. And I was like, what are we really complaining about? We are sitting in an office, messing around, like we did our work, but we were all sitting in a room having fun. No care in the world, right? Like, we did the job, we did what we came to do, and we still had hours left to sit around. Yes, we could have been home. Yes, at that point, I wish I would have created a business or a different venture to be into, because it would have helped me have time to build towards that. But I didn't. And if I knew what I knew then, what I know now, then it would have been different. But now I know that I'm showing up how I want to show up, no matter what. And the things that I do, you are more than welcome, right? Because people are so busy trying to get seats at somebody else's table when you can make your own table. But nobody's ready to talk about that yet, because they're so busy grinding for somebody else. They're so busy making a life around somebody else's dream. And the minute somebody tells you to step up for what you want, it's a problem. That's when you go back deep into your hole, right? Like, your hole is so deep, you're like, you're not talking to me. It's cool. I'm not talking to you today, but I am talking to you. And when you're ready to listen, we can have a whole conversation about it. But here's the deal. It's all about showing up differently. It's about being who you need to be for you, regardless, right? People gonna talk. They won't always talk. People are always gonna talk. They always gonna have something to say about what you're doing and what you're not doing. So I appreciate you taking the time to share this space with me. And I hope everyone has an amazing Thursday.